Hello, my name is David Baker. I've been a pastor for 23 years, preaching over 27. But before that, I had to be in jail. Not for a long time, but long enough to realize that I needed to make some changes in my life. And after I got out of jail, I did. And for the past 20 years, I've been going to the jails every week to be able to help other guys to make the changes in their life that they need to. And helped a lot of guys be able to do that. And one of the hardest things is trying to help the family. I've talked to so many moms, so many dads, so many wives, so many girlfriends, so many children that hurt because their loved one is incarcerated and they don't know what to do. So what I've done is put together a 3-part video series to be able to help the loved one to know how to help their loved one that's incarcerated. And so I hope these will be a help to you. They'll be short, but they'll be helpful and packed with things that can be a help to you. The first thing that I want you to do is to try to get them to what I call take the challenge. Take the challenge. Everyone's up for a challenge. Everyone's up for a dare. Everyone's up for, hey, let me see if you can do this, and to take the challenge. This is something that I did 27 years ago after I got out of jail. And this was one of the big things that helped me to change my life. What happens is guys, while they're in jail, decide and truly, sincerely want to do right. And then when they get out, they get back around the same things that bring them down and mess them up and bring them back to jail. I saw our local sheriff get a guy that got out of jail a job and got him an apartment, paid for it himself, called a friend, got him a job, called a place, got him an apartment. 2 weeks later, the guy's back in jail on new charges. And the sheriff talked to me and said, Dave, what does it take to help these guys? I said, Sheriff, the guys have to experience the victorious Christian life long enough to realize that it's a whole lot better than anything the world has to offer, so they won't want to go back to it. And so that is what this program is, helping them to be able to see that serving God in the Christian life is so much better than anything the world has to offer. So if I just had 5 minutes with an inmate, this is the thing I would tell them in order to try to keep them from coming back to jail. I ask them to take the challenge. I ask them if they're up for a challenge. I ask them to get rid of 4 things in their life and add 1. To get rid of 4 things in their life to add 1. And I tell them to do it only for 6 months. If after 6 months your life isn't so much better, then fine, go back to the other life. I won't give you a hard time. You tried it. But 6 months to try to get rid of these 4 things and to add 1 thing in. It's been very successful. By the way, I tell them it probably won't take you 6 months. For me, it only took 2 weeks. 2 weeks after I did this, I woke up and I said, well, this is weird. I'm happy. I didn't know why, but I found out that for the last 2 weeks, without even realizing it, I had been doing everything the Bible says to make me happy. The Bible has a list of things. Happy is a man that does this. Happy is a man that does that. Without even realizing it for 2 weeks, that's what I had been doing. So on this video series, I'm going to give you that challenge. And if you can encourage your loved one to take that challenge. Now, I'm not going to take time to preach and debate every topic and issue. I just want you to trust me. 20 years, every week, in the jail doing these things. Some of them are natural. Some of you may want to debate and argue. That's fine. I'm not here to do that with you. If you don't want to do it, if your loved one doesn't want to do it, nobody can make them. But if you would just give it a try, 6 months. Sometimes people say, oh, I can't do that for 6 months. I go through a little thing and ask them, how long have they been incarcerated, or how long has their life been given to the world, the flesh, and the devil? I tell them to count the years of how many years they've been serving the world, the flesh, and the devil, meaning how old were you when you got off track, and how old are you now? For me, I was 13 when I started going down the wrong path. I was 21, almost 22 when I got things right. So for me, that was 7 or 8 years. I asked them to add it up. It's amazing. I've had anywhere from 3 to 5 years to 30 or 40 years. And I ask them simply, how is that working for you? And they all say, look, they're in jail. So they know it doesn't work for them. So I say, hey, give God a chance. 6 months. What do you got to lose? 6 months. You tried it the other way for 10 years. Why don't you give God 6 months and see if your life's not better? It's very logical. It's very simple. And many guys will say, you know what? I'm going to try that. If they do, then it will work. So you are to try to help your loved one by saying, hey, you up for a challenge? Hey, you up for a challenge? I got one for you. Why don't you get rid of 4 things and add 1 thing in your life for 6 months and see if your life's not better? Okay, so here quickly is the simple things. Number 1, alcohol. Okay, get them to commit that they will not drink 1 drop of alcohol for 6 months when they're out. Not one drop, not a beer after work, not a glass of wine with dinner, not birthday, anniversary, nothing. Because they may say, oh, well, it's okay. It's not that big of a deal. It starts with one, and where does it go to? We all know that. So get them to make a commitment just for 6 months, not a drop of it. And I can preach and teach you what the Bible says. Wine is a mocker, strong drink is raging. Whosoever deceived, thereby is not wise. But if you want to debate the issue, I'm not going to convince you. So just give it a try and see if your life's not better. We used to get drunk every night. That's what we did. I finally realized alcohol had never done anything good for me, and I gave God a chance, totally without it. That was 27 years ago, and I've not had a drop of alcohol in 27 years, and I do not miss it. So that's number one. Number two, drugs. We know drugs are bad. We know drugs are illegal. But the problem is we either justify ourselves and say, oh, yeah, God made herbs, and we're supposed to use them. God didn't make it for that. God made everything good in its place and in its purpose. Satan can't create anything, so he can only pervert it. God made the physical union of a husband and wife good. Satan can't create, so he just perverts it into things that aren't the way God intended them to be. It's the same way with alcohol. It's the same way with drugs. God made hemp. It's a great material. You can make clothes and rope and all kinds of things out of it, but it was not intended to smoke it. I tell guys, God allowed a cow to defecate and have a cow patty, but he did not intend for you to go to eat the mushrooms that grow off of that to give yourself a psychedelic high. God creates, Satan perverts, and that's what he does with drugs. So again, if you believe differently, I'm not going to convince you, but give God a chance. 6 months, no drugs, not one drug of anything for 6 months. Number three, and here's the one that gets a lot of them, is women. Women, if you're not married to her, you're not supposed to touch her. You need to tell them that. To commit to 6 months, they will not touch a person if they're not married to them. That's what God says. Marriage is honorable in all, and the bed undefiled. But whoremongers and adulterers, God will judge. There's so many guys in jail because of women. It's unbelievable. That may not be their charge, but God is not going to let someone enjoy the pleasures of the physical relationship without consequences. God said he's the judge, and God intended that physical union to be a blessing for marriage, holy matrimony. That's what God intended it to be. And so if you're not married to her, you're not supposed to touch her. And yes, you can do that. I can't just go without it. And how long have you been locked up? No, you can go without it. God says he will judge you when you do. And God sees it. God sees everything. God is the judge. I tell guys, imagine if you got picked up shoplifting or knocking over a liquor store, and there was one witness against you, and you didn't know who it was. You found out when you got to court pleading not guilty, or Your Honor, I didn't do it, that the one witness was the judge. Would you be in trouble? Not much getting out of it if the witness is the judge. Hey, guess what God is? God is the judge, and he's also the witness. He sees everything, and he's not going to allow us to do that without God judging us. So 6 months, stay away from him. I tell guys honestly, if she'll have sex with you before you're married, she'll probably have sex with someone else after you're married. That's not what you need. You stay away from it, do it right, do it God's way. Number one, alcohol. Number two, drugs. Number three, women. Number four, friends. The Bible says, can two walk together except they be agreed? The friends that are going the wrong way, if you hang around them, you'll be judged with them. The Bible says a companion of fools shall be destroyed. Just hanging around with guys doing the wrong thing will destroy you. A lot of times guys say, well, I didn't do anything. I was just with them. Yeah, the Bible calls that an accessory. The Bible calls that an accomplice. Sorry, not the Bible. The law calls it an accessory and an accomplice. And so just hanging around with the wrong guys will get you messed up. So those four things: simple, alcohol, drugs, bad women, and bad friends. Okay? Then add one thing in. Add God. Church, Bible, prayer. Add God in your life. Fill your life up with God and see if your life is not so much better. So you're the family member of someone incarcerated. This is what you need to do. You need to be praying for them every day, praying that God will touch their heart. Pray that they will come to themselves like the prodigal son did and realize, what am I doing in this place? I've got to change something. Then when they're open to that, say, hey, I've got a challenge for you. Are you up to it? Well, what's the challenge? No, forget it. If you're not up to it, I'm not even going to tell you. Hey, but I got a challenge for you whenever you're ready. The curiosity will get them. Get them to commit to 6 months to these four things and add God in their life. Church, Bible, prayer. It will be amazing what God can do with your loved one, and it'd be amazing what God can do with you in being able to help them. So this is the first of three of the video series. Again, they'll all be simple. They'll all be short. I'm not trying to take a lot of your time, but I want you to get the truths of what you can do to help your loved one. Thank you so much. This is David Baker with Never Back Here Ministries. God bless you.